After ordering 999 roses, I was ready to surprise my wife. Instead, I saw a post on my daughter Lily's social media page, a photo of her and my wife, Chloe, kissing her old flame in a BMW. The caption read, "New daddy is good, old daddy is bad. I want a new daddy." Chloe had reposted it, forgetting to block me. I immediately commented, "What does he have that I don't?" Her response was a furious phone call. "You pathetic loser. What can you do besides being jealous and making wild accusations?" I knelt and begged her to reconsider, but she was insistent on a divorce. The moment I left the Civil Affairs Bureau in my $20 million Bugatti, the two of them chased after me, their eyes red with tears. "Liam, are you abandoning us?" From the back seat, I quietly instructed my driver to step on the gas, leaving the two ungrateful wolves in the dust. Yes, I was abandoning them. "Chloe, if you don't delete that post, we're getting a divorce." "No, Liam, can you stop being so childish? You're a grown man. Why are you getting worked up over a child's innocent words?" she'd retorted. "Can you act like a man for once? What's the point of those useless paintings you do all day? You can't even afford a car. What good are you?" Her words left me speechless. They weren't useless paintings. I was a dream weaver, a painter of bespoke dreamscapes, a profession I took up only because Chloe once said she loved the artistic air I had when I held a brush. I, who had a natural talent for business, had picked up a paintbrush for her. I wasn't unable to afford a BMW. I rode an electric scooter because Lily said it made her feel like a general on her warhorse. I bought a fleet of them for her to command. I had done everything they asked. Why was it still my fault? I could buy that BMW right now if she wanted. Before she attended that class reunion, she was never like this. She had been content. "Liam, are you giving me the silent treatment again? I'm done with this life." Before I could explain, she hung up. I looked at the 999 roses filling the living room, and my heart felt like it was being shredded by 1,000 knives. Being a dream weaver was just a cover. I was the sole heir to the city's wealthiest family. My parents had been vehemently against me marrying a kindergarten teacher who couldn't even pass the civil service exam. I had defied them, taking my ID card and marrying her without their blessing. A loophole in the law allowed us to register without the family household book. My parents assumed it was a phase, that I was just playing around and would eventually come back to my senses. They waited. They waited until our daughter, Lily, was about to graduate from kindergarten. Their love for their grandchild finally forced them to compromise. They agreed to welcome Chloe and Lily into the family, to throw them a lavish wedding, if Chloe could just be devoted to me for one more month. One more month. That's all it would have taken for her to have everything she ever wanted. But now, she didn't want me. "Chloe," I whispered to the empty room, "what am I going to do with you?" I collapsed onto the sofa, utterly lost. Ethan had been her high school crush, the white moonlight of her youth. Their budding romance had been cut short when his own mother reported them to the principal. The class reunion had magnified his allure 1,000 times. I didn't know if she could ever be content with me again. The click of the lock broke my reverie. The door opened, and there was Chloe, draped in a tight black dress, clinging to Ethan. My daughter was hugging his leg, crying, "Daddy, don't go. Lily, come here. I'm your father." For the first time, I was angry at my precious daughter. You can eat the wrong food, but you can't call the wrong man daddy. No, go away. I don't want you to be my daddy. I want Uncle Ethan to be my daddy. My little girl, who had always been my greatest comfort, was rejecting me. I swallowed my rage and tried to lift her away, but she burst into a storm of tears and snot. "Liam, what is wrong with you? Lily is not your punching bag," Chloe screamed, flinging her purse at my head. It struck my forehead, and blood streamed down my face. Lily buried her face in Ethan's leg, wailing, "Scared. Scared." Ethan shot me a glare. "You're frightening her. Go make some hangover soup." I could only watch, a powerless spectator, as Ethan, acting like the man of the house, carried my wife and child into our bedroom. I was left standing like the hired help. "Don't go." My wife clutched Ethan's hand. He toyed with her fingers, his eyes flashing with contempt as he looked at me. "You're her husband. Can't you be a little more generous? Stop being so damn jealous all the time. If you have so much free time, go out and make some money. You can barely support your wife and child." I was the husband, yet he made me feel like the other man. With my family's resources, I could buy not just a BMW, but the entire dealership. How had I become a pathetic loser in their eyes? "Babe, get some rest. See you tomorrow," Ethan murmured, planting a soft kiss on Chloe's forehead before sauntering out of my bedroom. The moment he was gone, Chloe's eyes cleared. There was no trace of drunkenness. Liam, are you just going to stand there like a statue? Get me something to eat. A storm of emotions churned within me. You weren't drunk? Do you know what today is? What day? A day with money is a day without money is a day. It's just our stupid anniversary, so what? My mother, your mother. Can't you go 1 second without mentioning your mother on our pathetic anniversary? Her words silenced me. She was right. What was an anniversary when she didn't want me anymore? My mother wasn't that important either, was she? Whether she came tomorrow to give her daughter-in-law a gift didn't seem to matter at all. If you're hungry, you can order takeout, I said, my lips a thin line. I refused to cook for her. Liam, all I did was have a couple of drinks with him. How can a grown man be so petty? Ignoring her dark expression, I grabbed a quilt and went to the guest room. My heart was indeed small. It only had room for her. I had always refused any opportunity to be alone with another woman. And her? She brought a strange man home and taught my daughter to call him daddy. A loud crashing sound came from the living room. Chloe, keep it down. I'm trying to sleep. I yelled, yanking open the door. She was destroying the roses. Liam, you're not. I slammed the door in her face before she could finish. Liam, you son of a bitch. Is this how a husband acts? Leaning against the closed door, tears streamed down my face. With trembling hands, I sent a text to my mother. Mom, you don't need to come tomorrow. I tossed the phone aside and fell into a fitful, nightmare-ridden sleep. In the dream, a ferocious Ethan held a heavily pregnant Chloe with one arm. With the other, he lifted a tear-stained Lily and tossed her over the balcony railing. Mommy, save me. Save me. Lily's desperate cries tore through the air, her tiny hands clutching the railing until they were white. Chloe, are you insane? That's your daughter. I screamed, lunging forward to grab her, but my hands passed right through her like smoke. A useless girl is better off dead. It saves money for your little brother in my belly, Chloe said coolly. Don't worry, Mommy will. Burn you lots of toys. One by one, she pried Lily's small fingers from the railing. My daughter plummeted from the 22nd floor. No. I jumped after her, desperately reaching for a piece of her clothing. Then, a crushing impact, and an agony that exploded from my very bones. This is it, I thought. I'm really dying. Liam, are you fucking crazy? Why are you barking like a dog in the middle of the night? Chloe's furious shouts and kicks on the door pulled me from the nightmare. I wiped the cold sweat from my brow, my heart hammering. It was just a dream. I stood in the cold wind of the balcony for the rest of the night, not knowing what to do. Was my family really falling apart? Lily was so young. If they had a new child, would they still treat her well? No, I would never let that happen. I had to protect Lily. Liam, are you still sleeping? It's almost 8. Get out here and comb Lily's hair. I looked at Lily's bird's nest of hair and sighed, taking out her favorite strawberry-shaped comb. Lily, come here. No, I don't want you. Go away. I want Daddy Ethan. She wriggled, her small hands slapping at me. She used to sit quietly on a little stool, waiting for me to do her hair. This was the second time she had rejected me so cruelly. I knew I shouldn't take a child's words to heart, but it felt like a knife twisting in my gut. Liam, what are you waiting for? Chloe's impatient voice snapped me out of it. I grabbed Lily like a little chick and, ignoring her cries, quickly finished the job. Let's go, I'll drive you. I grabbed the car keys from the hook by the door. Chloe's face instantly darkened. Liam, do you have a problem with me? I gave you a child. I've lived in this dump with you. And you dare to have a problem with me? Do I owe you something? My parents may have disapproved of our marriage, but they had covered every expense from her pregnancy to Lily's elite kindergarten. I took every commission I could, painting dreams for others, big and small, just so I could afford an extra made to spare her from housework. We weren't fabulously wealthy, but I had never let her suffer. Seeing her tremble with rage, I tried to change the subject. I just wanted to drive you to school and work. I don't need your fake kindness. You have a problem with me. You don't trust me at all. I want a divorce. I'll have Ethan drive us. Chloe, you'll regret this. Regret? I don't even know how to write the word. With that, she clicked away in her 10-centimeter heels, carrying Lily into the elevator. I looked at the empty hallway, feeling like I was losing my grip on her, that nothing I did would ever be enough. The confidence I had last night, the resolve to forgive her for Lily's sake, evaporated. I looked at a picture of Lily's sweet face on my phone. I decided to forgive her. She was just temporarily lost. She would come back. I just had to endure this 1 month, and then I could give them everything. My mind made up, I walked to the kindergarten in our complex. I would be the first father there to pick up his child. I would apologize to Lily. I would. But when I got there, I received a brutal blow. I waited from 4 o'clock until 7. Every other child had been picked up, but there was no sign of Lily. I was about to call the police in a panic when her teacher chuckled. Lily's dad, are you looking for her? She went to her grandma's house with her mom today. I managed a weak smile and immediately dialed Chloe's number. She didn't pick up. It was like death by 1,000 cuts. I called again and again, the unanswered rings draining the life from me. I wandered the streets like a ghost, begging her in my mind to just answer the phone. I would have knelt for her. Finally, she answered. Liam, let's get a divorce. The world froze. I don't remember how I replied or how I got home. I only remember seeing the hopeful look in my mother's eyes and not being able to tell her the truth. Her health was too fragile for such a blow. Lily's grandmother isn't feeling well, so they're staying with her for a month. Don't worry, Mom. 1 month. That was enough time to win her back. My mother nodded, putting away the gift she had brought, and settled in to wait for her daughter-in-law and granddaughter to come home. I staked out her mother's building every day, hoping to talk to her, but she refused to see me. Her apartment was on the 2nd floor. I could see her. I saw her and Ethan, wrapped around each other. On the balcony, passionately trying for a second child. Ethan saw me in my car below. He turned Chloe around, so she was facing me directly. I watched their grotesque display until they were finished. Eventually, Chloe, bored of being cooped up, dragged Ethan out for a late-night snack. I cornered them. Chloe, when are you bringing Lily home? Mom misses her. I glanced at their intertwined hands, my voice calm. She ripped her hand away from Ethan's and stormed up to me. I just had a meal with him. Do you have to use your mother as an excuse to come and catch me cheating? I turned to leave, not wanting to argue. She followed me, chattering incessantly all the way home. Liam, are you even listening to me? I said I want a divorce. Are you deaf? When I still didn't speak, she grabbed my arm. Liam, do you even have a heart? Under the dim street lights, our elongated shadows looked like a mockery. Not long ago, she had held my hand and promised we'd be together forever. Now she was asking if I had a heart. I wanted to claw it out of my chest and show it to her. Do you? I shot back. She was speechless for a moment. What are you getting defensive about? I want a divorce. What? What are you two saying? With a thud, the bag of trash in my mother's hands fell to the ground. She collapsed. Mom, I scooped her into my arms. Chloe turned to run. Chloe, I yelled, my voice sharp with a rare fury. If you don't call 120, I will not let your family go. She froze, cursed under her breath, and dialed the emergency number. I held my mother's frail hand in the ambulance, my eyes burning. I was such an unfilial son, causing her so much worry at her age. Lily, Chloe, even then, she was thinking of them. Don't worry, Mom. I choked out. They're coming. Tears welled in her eyes. I knew she understood. After she was wheeled into surgery, I video called Chloe. She was lying next to Ethan and answered with an annoyed look. Liam, your mom is sick. Call a doctor. Why are you calling me? She's dying. What bad luck. Couldn't she have picked another day to die? For Lily's sake, I'll come to see her one last time. I gave her the hospital room number, a small measure of relief settling in my chest. Whether the surgery was successful or not, if they came, my mother would find peace. I waited outside the operating room, praying for my mother and waiting for them. When my mother was out of surgery, her first words were, "Where's Lily?" She scanned the room, and seeing it empty, closed her eyes in disappointment. After settling her in, I called Chloe frantically for 2 hours. She finally arrived, her face flushed, her clothes slightly disheveled. Any adult would know what that meant. What took you so long? Go see Mom, I demanded. Your mom's not dead yet, is she? What's the rush? You're just trying to make things difficult for Chloe, Ethan sneered. Daddy, you're so mean, Lily piped up. It's not too late to call us when Grandma is actually dead. At Ethan's words, Chloe's face hardened. She pulled her hand from my grasp. If you get on your knees and kiss my shoe, I'll forgive you. I looked at the people bustling in the hallway, then thought of my mother in the hospital bed. With a thud, I fell to my knees. Chloe, I'm begging you. Huh? Chloe, your husband is so pathetic. Ethan jeered. He's like a pathetic dog. He lifted his foot and stomped on my hand. A sharp pain shot up my arm, and I grunted. Let go. He pressed down harder. I heard a sickening crack. Then, with his arm around my wife, he sauntered away. I stumbled back to the room, Heartbroken. My mother's condition had worsened. She was rushed back into surgery. I knelt outside the operating room, praying with all my soul. But my mother died without seeing her beloved daughter-in-law and granddaughter one last time. My father and I, numb with grief, had her cremated. While my mother was nothing but dust and ashes, Chloe was posting pictures of her new life, celebrating her love on social media every day. I was wrong. I had forced a happiness that was never meant to be mine, and in doing so, I had killed my mother. There was no reason to continue this marriage. Chloe, let's get a divorce. Fine. You leave with nothing. Without a second thought, I agreed. Even though the love was gone, I still wanted them to live well. Our wedding had been just the two of us. At our divorce, her parents and Ethan were all there. I took the divorce certificate and walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, my face a numb mask. I ran into one of my father's business partners and had to force a polite greeting. Mr. Thompson, what are you doing here? It's me, Ethan. He pulled a business card from his pocket and offered it to Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson didn't even glance at it. He threw it on the ground and stomped on it twice. Humiliated, Ethan could only manage a weak, awkward laugh. Good stomp, good stomp. Chloe, standing behind him, chimed in. See, Mr. Thompson, my husband is a very hard worker. Mr. Thompson looked at them as if they were insects. Who are you? Do I know you? He then turned to me, his face wreathed in a fawning smile. Mr. Sia, if you please. He personally opened my car door for me. Where did Liam find those actors? I heard Chloe mutter as my car pulled away. And that cheap rental car. Even after a divorce, he's still trying to show off. Mr. Thompson sneered. The Sia family lacking money? Only a fool like you would trade a diamond for a fisheye. What are you talking about? He left with nothing. Where would he get the money for a multi-million-dollar car? Huh. If he wanted, every luxury car in this city would have his name on it. Chloe's jaw dropped. She kicked off her high heels, grabbed Lily, and sprinted after my car. Honey, wait for me. I was wrong. Lily, quick, call him Daddy. Honey, are you abandoning me and Lily? Hearing her words, I felt an immense weariness. This wasn't how she had acted last night when she agreed to the divorce. Faster, I told the driver. They had abandoned me first. Now it was my turn. I leaned back and closed my eyes. When I got out of the car and checked my phone, it was flooded with messages from her. Liam, does your mom like fish soup? I made some. Liam, Lily misses you and her daddy. With a trembling hand, I blocked her number. There was no going back. I had already transferred a lump sum child support payment. They could go find their new husband and new daddy. After receiving the money, Chloe was quiet for a while. She took Lily and Ethan on a whirlwind tour around the world. I knew most of the money was being spent on her and Ethan, but if it meant they treated Lily well, it was worth it. Not everything could be calculated so clearly. The large child support payment was Chloe's dowry for her second marriage. For the sake of the money, Ethan was willing to dote on them. But money, eventually, runs out. In less than 6 months, she had burned through it all and was calling me for more. Chloe, your daughter is out of money. Aren't you going to send some? If you don't, I'll go bother your mother. Bother my mother? If she could actually reach my mother, I would let her twist my head off and use it as a soccer ball. But there were no ifs. I no longer had a mother. Go ahead, I said calmly. Call her right now. My mother had been wanting to see her daughter-in-law and granddaughter for a long time. You're Lily's father. You should act like one. Stop playing these hard-to-get games, she snapped. Why are you so inferior to Ethan in every way? I glanced at my watch. Are you done? I have to go eat. You. After dinner, I dragged my father to the hospital for a full checkup. My mother's sudden death, despite her robust health, had terrified me. I couldn't let my father suffer the same fate. Unexpectedly, I ran into my ex-wife there. Her belly was slightly swollen. The timing lined up with that night on the balcony. Liam, when are you sending child support for Lily? I've already paid it. How much are you, her own mother, planning to contribute? If you can't afford to raise a child, don't get pregnant with a second one. And don't just try to squeeze money from someone who left his marriage with nothing. I glanced at her face, which was cycling through shades of green and white, and walked away. After confirming my father was healthy, I felt a sense of relief. We would live out the rest of our days together. Well, I took on the family business, working alongside my father, and rarely saw Chloe or Lily. But I hadn't expected her to target my father. She started waiting for him with Lily on his daily exercise route. Dad, Lily misses you. Dad, won't you look at your granddaughter? My father, still bitter about my mother's death, was disgusted by her. But he couldn't resist his granddaughter's charm. Seeing Lily became the highlight of his day. I didn't approve, but I didn't stop him. Until the day he brought her home. Lily, Grandpa will hold you. My father chased a giggling Lily around the toy-filled living room. Chloe stood by, playing the part of the virtuous daughter-in-law. My father held the child for a long time, tireless, until Chloe, looking weary, took her from his arms. Dad, Lily and I will get you a cup of hot water. She took Lily to the kitchen. I watched on the security monitor as she pulled a small paper packet from her pocket and emptied the white powder into a cup. The two of them were smiling. I rushed into the living room and knocked the cup from Lily's hand. What did you give my father to drink? Water, of course. He's her grandfather. What would I do? Chloe looked at my father with a wounded expression. Even if Liam and I are no longer together, you still love Lily. Isn't it good for her to have one more person in the world who loves her? Liam, you can't just accuse me of such terrible things because I don't love you anymore. You're mean. You yelled at Mommy. Lily pushed me, making me stumble. Looking at the two of them, still feigning innocence, I had to laugh. They had no idea the house was wired with cameras, or that my mother was already dead because of them. If she knew my mother had wanted to give them gifts even on her deathbed, she would be the one who was heartbroken. Is that so? Then you can explain it to the police. Liam, you have no proof. How dare you slander me? Chloe tried to act calm, but her pale face betrayed her. Slander or a guilty conscience. The police can just check the kitchen's security footage. I don't know what you're talking about. She grabbed Lily's hand and started to leave. Liam, my father called out to me. He didn't say it, but I knew what he meant. He wanted to let them go. I nodded reluctantly, not wanting to upset him, but I had to see them leave with my own eyes. I couldn't let my mother's tragedy repeat itself. I followed them out, watching to make sure they left. Chloe glanced back at me, a smirk playing on her lips. Liam, you still say you don't love me? I knew you couldn't let me go. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I couldn't believe I had ever been so blind. As Chloe reached the street, her smug expression froze. Ethan was standing there. Honey. Chloe had never looked so terrified. She had always portrayed her second marriage as a blissful one where she was the boss. From my car, I watched the drama unfold. Honey, weren't you supposed to succeed? Why are you out here? Weren't you supposed to wait for me to pick you up? Bitch, did you sell me out? Ethan slapped her to the ground. Her pretty face was instantly swollen, her hair a mess. No, I didn't. Ethan, listen to me. She crawled to him, kissing the tips of his shoes. Ethan, he didn't call the police. That means they don't know about the poison. We can try again. Is that so? If you can't get money from your ex-husband, then you and that little freeloader can get out of my apartment. My money doesn't grow on trees. Chloe nodded meekly, then suddenly pointed at my car. Honey, look. He's still not over me. Of course he'll give us money. Really? Of course. He left with nothing for me and Lily. Do you think he'd let his own daughter suffer? Getting money from him is easier than eating. Go ask him now if you don't believe me. A suspicious Ethan walked toward my car. I laughed coldly and sped away from the toxic couple. Bitch, he doesn't even know you. How dare you lie to me? You call any man you see honey, don't you? I heard Ethan roar as he grabbed Chloe's hair and started beating her. I didn't care what happened to them after that. They had destroyed my family, killed my mother, and tried to kill my father. If they hadn't once been my wife and daughter, I would never have let them off so easily. After that incident, my father finally saw their true colors and let go of his fantasy of a relationship with his granddaughter. I adopted a dog to keep him company, and we would take it for walks in the park. One day, we ran into Lily. She ran up and hugged my father's leg. Grandpa, Lily misses you. Daddy, I was wrong. Looking at the small child at my feet, my mind was surprisingly clear. She didn't miss me. She wasn't truly sorry. She was just unhappy with her mother and stepfather. If they were living well, she would never have thought of us. It didn't matter if the words were her own or if she had been coached. Not all mistakes can be forgiven with a simple, I miss you. I was wrong. She would never know how much her father and grandparents had loved her. Okay, we've seen you. Grandpa knows you miss him. Now go home. Your parents are waiting for you. I helped my father up and walked away quickly, leaving her with the security guard. I watched from the monitor room until Chloe came to pick her up. You brat, where did you run off to? Can't you see how pregnant I am? I have to cook for your dad. Chloe screamed at a crying Lily. Lily pushed her mother's belly. It's all your fault. You lost my daddy. I want my own daddy. I don't want the Uncle Ethan you chose. You little brat. If you hurt the baby, I'll deal with you. Chloe grabbed Lily like a chicken. Lily struggled, and her eyes lit up when she saw me passing by. Daddy, I put on my sunglasses and walked away faster. Who was I to interfere with a mother disciplining her child? I thought my father and I could finally live in peace, but then we went viral. Maybe Liam doesn't love me. He doesn't even love his own child. He won't even give his child $150 a month. Is he even a man? My daughter's child support is less than what he spends on dog food. A haggard-looking Chloe appeared on camera, and the comments section was filled with vitriol against me. If you're broke, don't have kids. Deadbeat dad. Rip. Chloe was thriving. She was building a strong single mom brand, selling products in her live streams, and making a fortune. My father and I, on the other hand, had our personal information leaked. We received packages of funeral clothes and text messages gloating about how well Chloe and Ethan were doing. Even when I blocked the numbers, new ones would pop up. Who else but Chloe would care so much about her ex-husband's demise? Once I confirmed she was behind it, I sent my father on an international tour to get away from it all. I hired people to gather evidence and keep an eye on Chloe and Ethan. It didn't take long. The quick money and adoration from their fans had gone to their heads. They were evading taxes. I created a 25-page PowerPoint detailing our entire relationship, from the affair to the divorce to the lump sum child support payment, and posted it online, complete with evidence of their tax evasion. It was a knockout blow. The government confirmed the tax evasion. Her social media accounts were banned, and she had to sell her luxury car and villa to pay the back taxes and fines. After paying up, she and Ethan tried to flee, but they hadn't met the sales targets in their contracts. The brands they had worked with cornered them at their home and beat them up. I watched from the crowd as they cowered like stray dogs, a mocking smile on my face. Liam, it was you. You sent them. Yes, I said with a smile. It was me who had them investigated. It was me who tipped off their business partners. And it was me who had come to watch them fall. I didn't want to divorce you, I said softly. If we had just held on for one more month, all of my family's money would have been yours. My mother was coming to give you jewelry that day. You could have had a whole dealership, not just one BMW. I left with nothing for you. As long as you took good care of Lily, my money was still your money. But you should never have, touched my family. I let you go after. You tried to poison my father. But then you built your little online empire on our backs and sent my father funeral clothes to torment him. You have no proof. Don't talk nonsense. She would deny it to the death, but it didn't matter. I had all the proof I needed. I pulled a suitcase from my trunk and opened it. It was filled with cash. Their eyes lit up. That was the reaction I wanted. They reached for it, and I slammed the lid shut, catching their fingers. They yelped in pain. Chloe, this money was supposed to be yours. But now, I would rather donate all of it to an orphanage than give you a single cent. I carried the suitcase straight to the nearest orphanage. The money would do some good there. Giving it to Chloe would be like throwing it into the ocean. Liam, I was wrong. I just got lost in my marriage. You can't just leave me. Her words were carried away by the wind. I didn't listen. Ethan was a fraud. The BMW had been a rental. He had no business acumen. Only a fool like Chloe would have fallen for his act. All this time, it was she who had been supporting him. Now, their hard times were just beginning. Unable to afford rent, Chloe called me. Liam, can you lend me some money for rent? No. Isn't your Ethan very capable? Let him pay for it. A grown man living off his wife's child support from her ex-husband? How pathetic. I threw his own words back at him. Liam, you just wait. If your mother knew about this, her heart would break. Doesn't she care about her granddaughter? At the mention of our child, I gripped the phone tighter. She still didn't know she had lost a mother-in-law who had adored her. I wondered how she would react when she found out. Regret? Resentment? Or just cold indifference? Chloe, if you're willing to see my mother, I'll give you $30,000. Liam, are you giving me money or not? If not, then forget it. Why are you tormenting me like this? Her shrill voice made me laugh. Chloe, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Why should a divorced ex-wife get my money with just a few words? Looks like you're not that desperate for money after all. Goodbye. Wait, I'll do it, she blurted out as I was about to hang up. When I saw her again, I almost didn't recognize her. She had aged years in just a few days. Her dress was wrinkled and stained with oil. I was just cooking, she stammered. I didn't have time to change. Ethan, he's very good to me. I didn't bother to call out her lie. If he was so good to her, she wouldn't be begging her ex-husband for rent money. Let's go, I said, leading her to my mother's grave. When she saw the tombstone, her smile froze. I ignored her and began to arrange the offerings. Liam, have you lost your mind? We're divorced. Yes, we were divorced. But when my mother died, we were still married. My mother had died of a broken heart because of us. My mother died that day, the day she was in the hospital. What? What are you talking about? She came to me in a dream. She said she missed you. Hasn't she visited you in your dreams? No. No. What? What are you doing? She was trembling. I looked at her pale face and sneered. Kneel and kowtow to my mother, and I'll forgive you. Liam, why should I kneel to your short-lived mother? Because you killed her. Because you were still her daughter-in-law when she died. Because even after the divorce, you're still asking your ex-husband for money to support your new husband and his family. I won't kneel. She turned to leave. Go ahead. Let your husband figure out the rent himself. After all, it's pretty pathetic to make your pregnant wife beg her ex-husband for money. She froze, her eyes wide. Liam, are you threatening me? You can choose not to kneel, but you won't get a single cent. You. One kowtow for $3,000. Take it or leave it. I'll kneel. Thud, thud, thud. I turned my back, but I counted in my head. 1, 2, 3. She knelt 30 times. I transferred the money to her account, enough for 3 months' rent and time to find a job. As she limped away, I felt no pity. Liam, when are you taking me home? There are taxis outside the cemetery. Get one yourself. As she disappeared from view, tears streamed down my face. I looked back at the lonely tombstone. Mom, I choked out. She finally apologized to you. I brought my father back from his trip and started going on dates with girls he introduced me to. Life had to go on. I ran into Chloe and Lily again when I was out to dinner with my new wife. Chloe, now looking ancient, rushed toward me like I was a lifeline. Liam, I was wrong. Will you take me back? Ethan, he lied to me. I wasn't even the other woman. I was just one of many. I pulled my wife behind me, shielding her. I don't recycle trash. Hey, bitch. How dare you seduce my husband? I'll rip your face off. 2 well-dressed young women tackled Chloe, beating her on the ground. Ethan stood by, smugly watching the 3 women fight over him. He saw me and started to walk over to greet me, but a car from the opposite lane plowed into him, sending him flying. I covered my wife's eyes, shielding her from the ugly scene. When we got to our car, I gently lowered my hands. I was trying to think of how to explain, but she just looked at me with a gentle smile. Let's go home. Yes, let's go home. Ethan was dead. Chloe was being beaten as a homewrecker, and my life was happy and full. I didn't need to explain their tragedy. They had brought it upon themselves. Okay, I said. Let's go home. I stepped on the gas and drove further and further down the road to happiness.